NGO Gift of the Givers is on the ground in Nelson Mandela Bay to assist flood victims. Let's get the latest now from Gift of the Givers project coordinator, Ali Sablay. A warm welcome to you, Ali. Let's talk about this. I mean, we are hearing residents who are being asked to evacuate the area and move to a place of safety, saying they are not moving because they are too worried about their belongings. I mean, how do you respond to that?
Thank you. When the fires occurred yesterday, we received desperate calls from community members, from councillors, who were then in contact with the disaster risk management teams, who informed us it's raining severely in Evacuation. In fact, speaking to the weatherman early this morning, he said it's the worst rains they had since 2012, the last 4 days rains they had. When our teams got on the ground, many of the elderly and children were already being evacuated to the community halls. In fact, they were evacuated to the situation in Motherwell, where we evacuated them to a church. It was leaking so much, we had to find them another place of safety. We then evacuated them to a children's home in Motherwell. Our teams were on the ground till 11 p.m. last night, assisting the flooded victims with food, with blankets. But the urgent need at the moment is mattresses. As you correctly said, many of the people do not want to move. Reason being is they are scared. That's the only belongings they have on them. That might get stolen. We tried our best to engage with them with disaster risk management teams, but we find this quite too often, whether it's a fire disaster, whether it's a flood disaster, many of the people do not want to move because they are afraid of losing their belongings.
How many people have you evacuated or put in a place of safety in that church, Ali, as you and I speak right now?
The church in Motherwell has just over 200 people. There's an area called eNCA as well. There's close to 300 people there as well. The total number of people evacuated, registered with disaster risk management, is just over 1,500. Our teams were again on the ground today to render assistance to many of these areas. We talk in areas as Warmer location, of Mission Vale, of Kwazakile, was severely hit. Our teams couldn't reach this area yesterday, and being on the ground there today, we could see the effect the flooding had on the people there. In fact, some of them, the elderly people, not even have the strength to move out of their locations. So with the help of disaster risk management teams, we have found a place of safety in Kwazakile. Our teams are currently there assisting those victims as well. We have trucks en route to Evacuation from our warehouses from Pietermaritzburg and East London, to bring in further human aid to assist these victims.
And Kwazakile is a very low-lying area, Ali. I've been there just a few times. Talk to me about the number of fatalities. Do we know if anyone has lost their lives as a result of these floods?
It's still early stages at this moment, but reports coming in, there's been no reports of loss of life. There is people that have been taken to hospital because of, especially the elderly, of spending so much time in the cold. There was some moms who took their children to the clinics and to the hospitals today as well, in terms of some injuries that occurred in trying to move out of the area. But fortunately, there's been no reports of loss of life. But the situation is dire on the ground. Many of the people, when our teams got to the halls yesterday, the people were still draped in their wet clothing. So we are providing clothing as well. And the urgent need at the moment is warm meals, blankets, mattresses, and toiletries.
And for people who have these items, Ali, how do they get in touch with you? How do they get them to you?
They're most welcome to contact our toll-free number, 0800 786 911. Our teams will be working throughout the night and will be there for the next few days until these people are back on their feet, delivering and assisting these victims as to whatever needs they have. As well, I forgot to mention, many children's school uniform got washed away as well. Our team is urgently purchasing the school uniform, as we do not want these children to miss out on school because of this disaster.
No, we don't want that, Ali. Before we wrap it up, let's talk about the weather at the moment. What's it like? Which areas are you still able to access?
The weather, the sun is out at the moment. Our teams is trying to reach all the areas we have identified with disaster risk management. We will be reaching out to all the over 1,500 people who has registered for assistance. Our teams will be then going tomorrow into people that have not evacuated. Our teams will be assisting them as well with blankets and home clothing and clean drinking water, and of course rolling out meals. And the most important thing is we want to get the registration of all those children that were affected, get them school uniforms, stationery, and of course the textbooks, and just to get them back at school. And of course those elderly that require some medical attention, some of them chronic medication got washed away. We will be working with the relevant health authorities to see if we can get these people their medication so that they don't skip taking their medication because of the disaster.
Of course. Ali Sablay there, live to us from Gqeberha. He speaks for and is the coordinator of the NGO Gift of the Givers. Now, still to